G&G Productions presents the Saturday Morning Coaches Show. Get ready for Washington and Marion County basketball as our G&G teams speak to the head coaches and a Washington or Marion County basketball legend. The Saturday Morning Coaches Show is brought to you by Ram Construction, Farmers National Bank, Jesse Insurance, Lebanon Tourism, and Citizens National Bank. The Saturday Morning Coaches Show, a presentation of G&G Productions.
Good morning. Welcome to Mordecai's on Main in downtown Springfield. Hal Good, John Graves for G&G Productions, as we have brought back to life. We've been able to breathe life back into the Saturday morning coaches shows that were so prominent on the airwaves over the past 30 years. And now we're bringing them back to you on G&G Productions on Facebook Live. The next hour, we'll be here at Mordecai's on Main. We're going to talk to the boys' coaches. Head coach of the Marion County Knights, May Stallworth, is in here along with Washington County Commander Skipper. We'll be talking to Stevie Woodson. And as a special added feature at each show, we're going to talk to at least our pick of a legend. It is a legend from each community that we go to, Marion and Washington, and who better here in Washington County to have than Bernard Smalley as a legend, not only player but coach here at Washington County, and we'll be talking to him this hour. We thank our sponsors. Well, we sure appreciate it. Farmers National Bank in Lebanon is our title sponsor. Thanks to Melissa Knight and her crew. They're going to be a part of this program and what we do and as we move forward. And also this program is brought to you in part by Ram Homes. Thanks to John Hayden and his group for being a part of that. Lebanon Tourism, who have been really great to work with G&G Productions. Jesse Insurance, Sarge Pollock and his crew there in Lebanon. And Citizens National Bank, Pete Thompson, Jim Reed. Thank you all for doing this in part because it's important to be able to have promotion of our young people. John Graves joins me, and John, this is a perfect avenue as we move from the old Freedom Auto sales that we used to do that we're here at Mordecai's on Main.
I drove by it this morning, Hal, and it kind of knew where we had been and how this has grown. And when you talk about legends of local basketball and baseball and everything, when we decided to do this show, we knew a lot of moving pieces, but we knew who we wanted as our first legend.
And indeed, and we want to talk to not only Bernard Smalley in a few moments, but we're going to talk to the head coaches. We are live at Mordecai's on Main. Encourage you to come down for lunch. This is also being, you talk about coaches shows in the area being a staple. Mordecai's on Main, Keith Slosser and his team, they're a big staple in what is done as far as fine food in the area.
Yes, there's not many times that you go to Springfield that you don't come down and, we'll grab lunch and you go to Mordecai's. This is just where we are.
And the novelty of it all is we're on Facebook Live. So we're doing this live. Some folks will be watching this on Sunday. Some will watch it Monday night, but it's at your leisure to watch. But if you are watching live, the neat thing, if you got a question for one of our coaches, or if you want to know what they're having for a lunch special at Mordecai's, we'll be able to help you with that as well. Absolutely. We're going to take our first time out. When we come back, May Stallworth, head coach of the Marion County Knights, will join us. It's a Saturday morning coaches show brought to you by Farmers National Bank on G&G Productions. At Farmers National Bank in Lebanon, we'd like to say, wow, thank you for voting us the best bank in Marion County, the best checking and savings in Marion County, the best loans and lending in Marion County, the best mortgages in Marion County, the best customer service in Marion County, and the one we're proud of, the best place to work in Marion County. Thank you to our customers and the community, and we couldn't do it without our great employees, so we are so proud to be voted the best place to work. Farmers National Bank, we're here for you. Farmers National Bank, 136 West Main Street in Lebanon and 2160 Campbellsville Highway. Farmers National Bank, member FDIC. So what's going on in Marion County? New homes. That's right, new Ram homes. They're going up in the Ridgeview subdivision, just off the Lebanon bypass, behind the Valvoline Instant Oil Change. These Ram homes are stunning and affordable, while maintaining slam dunk quality, featuring full press customer service. Ram Homes at numbers 859-336-6000. Let the Ram team get started for you.
Ram Homes wishes the Knights and the Lady Knights good luck, go Knights!
To a farmer, a handshake is as good as a contract, and a man's word is something you can actually build on. So to have an insurance agent who's accountable, trustworthy, and dedicated to providing the best customer service possible, well, that sure does go a long way. And that's why the farmers in Lebanon trust Jesse Insurance.
To hear more about their farm insurance products, stop by 101 South Spalding Avenue, across from the post office. Call 270-595-0000. Jesse Insurance, the agent with choices. Protect what you sow.
Lebanon, the heart of Kentucky, has always been known as a legendary place for dining, and it still is. Lebanon offers great options for virtually every type of dining. Fine cuisine with a chef-driven menu? We have it. Country dining with a local flair? We have it. How about a great lunch spot? We have it. We even have an old-time fountain drink counter, a 50-style drive-in with the best chili dog around, and a sweet shop complete with hand-dipped ice cream. For a complete listing of all the wonderful places to eat in Lebanon, go to visitlebanonky.com.
Pixel Phase Media are our partners for the Saturday Morning Coaches Show. It's a G&G production. Thanks for joining us. If you're joining us live on Facebook Live, call your neighbors and friends and tell them that the Saturday Morning Coaches Show is back on the air. We're in downtown Springfield at Mordecai's on Main, and we'll be here for the next hour. And, of course, you can definitely get on Facebook Live and watch this Coaches Show at any time, just like all of our games that we've been doing. We're glad to have our coaches here this morning. May Stallworth at Marion County High School has taken that boys program, has been working with this boys team, comes in with a record of 1-17, but a team that has suffered some injuries and has been able to come in and, and still fight the good fight, because understand it doesn't really matter what your record is coming into district play, because that one game will get you into the district. But first of all, welcome. We're glad to have you here this morning. And it has been a big year for you here at Marion County. And I know fighting through injuries, fighting through some really close ball games against really good ball clubs as well.
Right, we have. Our record is something I like to call deceiving, because, you look at our record and say, man, what's going on, and not knowing the full picture of the story. This is 2 years in a row where I've had, I haven't had my full team. My last year, first game of the season, Ethan Allender also goes down with COVID. Then we had some situations like that. That was a big thing last year, and we never got our full team until literally right at district tournament. Same thing this year with having, we had it rolling against Bardstown. I thought we had a great game going. We suffered Ethan Allen, one of our big-time seniors, who was having a great, game at the time. Comes down with a concussion. He's out, about a month and a half. And then the next game, as you roll on, Markel Bell, he gets a knee injury that ends up being season-ending injury. And then as we go on, about 4 or 5 games later, Mason May ends up fracturing his leg. And then, just some different things like that. It was almost like I said, we were in a movie, how things were going. And that like sometimes doesn't tell the whole story when you look at your record. And we had going into it, we were planning to have a senior-oriented team, a pretty good team. And that was the plan going to, and that's how we scheduled accordingly, going to the King Bluegrass and things like that. And like I said, I just want people to understand that with these group of kids, they're fighting every day. They keep coming back every day. They keep, wanting to learn. They keep, going diving in film session. And like last night, we had a team bonding experience. Kids got to laugh. They got to have a good time. And, those things like go unnoticed that you have with your teams. And, and that's what I always want to grasp and hold of, that, we have a good team. We have a good group of kids, and that they're going to keep fighting.
And you look through those injuries and trying to make sure, that injured, you're going to have to be out a while. You may have to be out all season, like a couple that you mentioned. But, these are kids, and they're ready to come back and play.
Yeah, they are. You got Mason May, who's in the boot right now, who's chomping at the bit. Markel Bell would do anything in the world to be on that floor. One of our tougher guys. And Ethan Allen, finally, he's back now. He's his second game in, but he really even had much practice time on the floor, just kind of rolled back into get some games. So, like I said, with this group, they could come every day and put their head down, mope and pout and feel sorry for themselves and keep blaming somebody else, but they keep putting their hard hat on. They keep coming each and every day. And I think eventually, we don't have many games left, but like I said, it doesn't matter when you go into that district play, anything goes. And last year, going into that district play, I want to say, I believe we were the 4th seed going into it last year, and we ended up playing for the district tournament championship.
And you mentioned some of your games. I had a chance to see you play at Dare County, and it's been a couple of those games where, you feel like you have it, and then all of a sudden something can happen, and the next thing you know, the tide moves away against again, you mentioned Bardstown, Dare County. They're such good caliber teams. They are really playing well.
Yeah, they are. In our region, who those teams usually are. upper level type groups and upper programs, and you got some programs coming along now that are making a fight for everybody. So it's wide open. That's what I love about this region right now. It's wide open. And when you see those games, with Taylor County and Dare County, some of those close games, you're like, what's going on? And that's where, I always tell my boys, you want that ball. Sometimes the ball got to bounce your way sometimes. And just keep fighting, keep putting your head down, and keep grinding, and then everything's going to be fine. And that's what this group, I think, we put our heads down sometime when we get down because we've been in this situation a lot of times before, and it's breaking through that barrier, breaking through that wall. And once we finally do, and I think we will, I think success will come.
Well, and you look for players to step up. I mean, I saw Van Cleve have a really good game in that Adair County game and played well, and those are some of the ones that you're going to count on, I know, to step up when someone's out.
Right. Yeah, Kevin Van Cleve, his first year with us, he was a Marion County kid and went to Bethlehem and came back first year with us, doing well for us. You got Brady Hutchins coming as a sophomore who's doing well. I threw him in the fire last year as a freshman. He's coming this year, and you can see that's paying off his time that he had as a freshman, things he's knowing, things that he's learning, things that he has learned and he's doing on the floor as a sophomore. James Jewell, his second year with this group, and some other guys too. Ethan Allender stepping into a bigger role. Omar Birch being a senior role where he's been behind some other guys before growing up. That now he's got to take that leadership role. And so guys are stepping up in different positions. You got some younger guys and Nick Mullins, some other guys on that bench who are doing some different things. Jake Campbell, some guys that got to come out. They didn't come out last year. Jake didn't play last year. He came out this year. Has been with the program, in the younger ages. So just getting these younger guys in the flow of things and getting them better. And they sometimes don't see success, but I see little success in different things we do. Sometimes it doesn't end up in wins, but the little things that I'm seeing about these guys eventually will turn to success.
Let's talk about senior James Jewell. I know he's already signed. He's been playing with a name that we're going to recognize, Donnie Tyndall, and you can talk about that. But talk about, what I'm seeing is you're seeing they're doubling up on him, tripling up on him. He's really having to work a lot harder. It's going to make him a better player, even though it is tough right now. But talk about Jewell, and then talk a little bit about playing for Coach Tyndall.
Well, he knew going into it that, with our group, he was going to be, called upon to do a lot of different things. So obviously defenses, they plan accordingly. Boxing ones, triangle twos, see some teams triple team when he gets the basketball. But along that being said, that goes along being a good player. I mean, every good player that's been a part of something has been double, triple team, things like that before. But, it goes a lot when he needs to start, trusting his teammates. I mean, when that comes part, like you see Reese Shepard when he plays for North Laurel, he trusts his teammates. He passes the ball. And those things I think James does a good job of, but I would also encourage him he can do even a better job of getting those guys involved when those guys start to do those different things. And when he was looking at colleges this year, he different things. He had different schools calling him, different situations. And junior college ended up being the best route for him with some different things he needed to grow with. And going to play for Coach Tyndall, who's a Hall of Fame coach, and in my opinion, one of the best college coaches in the game. And he's coached me, Coach J.T. Burton, who's also a native of Springfield and done so well, was at St. Catherine, won a JUCO National Championship, things like that. And he's going to go play for a demanding guy, a guy's going to make you go every single day and hold you accountable. And I told him, I said, I'm praying for you because I'm just telling you, it's going to be demanding on you. And if you make it through it, you're going to be a better person and a better player, more than you ever been in your life. And the proof is in the pudding with the guys that Coach Tyndall has had, that he does that for guys.
Talking to Mays Stallworth, and Mays is the head coach for the Marion County Knights on our G&G production of Facebook Live, the Farmers National Bank Saturday Morning Coaches Show. If you've got a question for the coach, just jump in. We'd be glad to take any questions. Stevie Woodson, head coach of the Commanders, coming up for you in just a few moments. Coach, coming up, you've got some big games that are going to be coming up. I just want to kind of do a little preview, look at the crystal ball. You got Evangel Christian coming up, but then you jump right back into your district games again. So you got 3 in a row: Adair, Campbellsville, and Taylor. Talk a little bit about that in the next weeks.
Well, you got to think about that. You got the All-A champions probably in 2 different games. Evangel Christian, who's going to be up playing the All-A championship today, the region championship. Pretty good chance they should win that one. You go on to Taylor County, who's the number 1 team in our district right now. Adair County, who's right there, number 2 team. Then you play the All-A region champions in the 5th region in Campbellsville. So, our schedule doesn't look lighter, however you want to look at it. It's going to be a challenge each and every game. But like I said, this is in the situation we're in, you would think guys would be down and things like that. But we had a great morale with each other yesterday, and the things we did as far as some team bonding situations and just how they are with the leadership, with the seniors, things like that. They know our goal is still there. The goal is still reachable. And with that set in mind, I think these guys are going to finish things the right way, finish things with a head held high, and have a chance to win something.
February 18th, you'll play your old automata. John Harden will come to town.
Right.
Folks are still talking about the Bulldogs, how they're going to be tough to handle.
Yeah.
But where do you want to be with your team before 20th District? You talk about record, and I have a lot of respect for a coach named Mark Perry, who's with the University of Kentucky, but he coached football for Washington County. And the first couple of years had some teams that were not probably your scoring offense, but he said, Hal, we're going to put a blanket over the scoreboard and play. And it really worked. His team played hard, and really coming up in postgame, the postseason played well. Where do you want your team to be as you're getting ready for the 20th District tournament after that John Harden game?
Well, you got to see this. Some guys would say defensively, I want them to be doing this. Offensively, I want them to be doing this. I want these guys to become this. Come together, really, really be your brother's keeper. Really be that guy you can depend on each and every possession in anything we do. I'm not really guys. Sitting here and say I want to score 25, get this guy, get 40 points a game. Those things to me are unrealistic. But things that we can do and control are things that we do as a team, do it together. And if we do those things and come together and do this, we'll have a fighting chance to win this thing. I really do think so.
Before we take our break and go to our next segment, I want to talk about the Manimal Training Facility. When it first opened, you gave me a tour and said, this is what we're going to do.
Right.
Now, a couple of years later, the stuff that you told me you're going to do, you've done.
Yeah.
Beautiful floor. I know you got a big volleyball tournament going on over there. You took a liability and made an asset with the old tobacco warehouse to do that.
Right.
Talk a little bit about that. Talk about your good friend, if we talk about Manimal, who we're talking about. But talk a little bit about that.
As it started out, Manimal Elite started here in Springfield when I was at St. Catherine. I was assistant coach at St. Catherine. It started just with some, AAU teams, guys that are actually right now, Mason Faulkner, who's playing at Louisville right now as point guard. He was on that team. Tyler Sharp, who ended up playing at Louisville and ended up at NKU. Some other guys, some really big name, talented guys on that team that started right here in Springfield. And it just started as one team. I just said, let's play. I just wanted to coach and things like that. And it catapulted to 3 or 4 other teams, and it catapulted to now you got girls team. Now you want, now the brand is built itself, to where I've tried to walk away, but it keeps bringing me back for some reason,
Sure.
And now it's getting to where, in this during the COVID year, we needed all these kids had nothing to do. They had nothing to do at all. They're just sitting at home doing the work. They got to get out and do something. So, my father-in-law John Hayden, he looked at that warehouse. It was open, and we were just looking at it because we wanted to do some different things here for the kids. And just with that being said, we have a nonprofit that ended up taking care of building this magnificent floor, getting it done, get some goals in there, get some turf in there. We didn't know what it was going to be. We were just wanted a place for kids to come. And then all of a sudden now it's built into getting a volleyball league, a men's league. Now you got people wondering, hey, how can I help you with those different things? And it's built itself to something I didn't even think it could be. We were talking about it, but I didn't know what it could be at that time. I just thought it could be this certain thing. And now in this little small community that nobody thought it could get done, it's being done, and people are starting to really realize what's going on here, and I think it's going to help. Down the line, I've had a great number of Coach Woodson's kids that's come over there and done a lot of training. I mean, all those kids, I don't look at it as you're Marion County or Washington. I don't look at it that. I just want kids in the gym learning basketball, different things, girls, boys, don't matter who it is, and that's what it's catapulted into. At Kenneth Free, I played with him in college. That's my very best friend. We've done some different ventures as far as he let me take this brand and build it what it is. He never had any pushback. He just said, go do it for these kids. And, and so far in his career, he keeps trying to push to do those same things, keep trying to get to the upper echelon of what he does in the NBA and things like that. So long story short, I just hope this community realizes what's going on in this small community that can help each and all these kids,
right.
Progress in whatever they want to do, sports, whether it's, just want to be, and just run around, all those different things that we can access because you have this resource here.
Well, you're doing an awesome job with that and with your guys there at Marion County. Again, this is the Saturday Morning Coaches Show brought to you by Farmers National Bank in Lebanon. We're going to take our first time out. When we come back, I'm going to turn it over to John Graves. You'll have Washington County Coach Stevie Woodson. All that coming up for you in just a moment. The Farmers National Bank Saturday Morning Coaches Show is a G&G production. At Farmers National Bank in Lebanon, we'd like to say, wow! Wow! Thank you for voting us the best bank in Marion County, the best checking and savings in Marion County, the best loans and lending in Marion County, the best mortgages in Marion County, the best customer service in Marion County, and the one we're proud of, the best place to work in Marion County. Thank you to our customers and the community, and we couldn't do it without our great employees. So we are so proud to be voted the best place to work. Farmers National Bank, we're here for you. Farmers National Bank, 136 West Main Street in Lebanon and 2160 Campbellsville Highway. Farmers National Bank, member FDIC. So what's going on in Marion County? New homes. That's right, new Ram homes. They're going up in the Ridgeview subdivision, just off the Lebanon bypass, behind the Valvoline Instant Oil Change. These Ram homes are stunning and affordable while maintaining slam dunk quality, featuring full press customer service. Ram Homes at numbers 859-336-6000. Let the Ram team get started for you.
Ram Homes wishes the Knights and the Lady Knights. Good luck, go Knights!
Mark Eaton.
And Angie May here from TG Kentucky.
Looking for a full-time job with awesome pay and benefits?
New hourly rates start at $17.60 for off-shift production and shipping position.
Apply for these roles at workfortg.com.
Need a flexible part-time job? Apply through BellFlex and create your own work schedule.
Stop by and visit us in Lebanon or give us a call with any questions.
270-699-3300.
Find us on Facebook and LinkedIn.
Come see why TG Kentucky
is right for you.
Putting people back to work. Brought to you by the Marion County Industrial Foundation.
We've had some great basketball teams in our history here in Marion County. Whether it was the 1993 or the 2013 state champion teams, one key ingredient that made them a great team was trust. A great team is made up of team members that completely trust one another to get things done. That same mentality is found at Citizens National Bank of Lebanon. Go out and cheer for the Knights and the Lady Knights and bank with the area's chosen bank. Citizens National Bank of Lebanon, member FDIC and equal housing lender.
Good morning and welcome back to the G&G Coaches Show presented by Farmers National Bank. In our next segment, we've got the head coach of Washington County Commanders, Coach Woodson. Welcome in this morning.
Oh, glad to be here.
Long night last night, late getting back. We'll talk about that in a minute, but let's just talk about your team overall. Kind of, are you where you wanted to be coming out of the Fifth Region tournament?
Yeah. I'm definitely. I'm just pleasantly surprised about. Like I know we was gonna be really young this year. We lost 7 seniors. Lost my best ball handler, my top guy, Josh Burkhead last year. He created a lot of points for other kids and for himself. So losing him was really big. And Jack Matherly, he was my glue guy, my rebounder, my just everything on defense. He communicated a lot. So I knew it was gonna be tough at the beginning. But we had some players. I had 2 returning starters, and so the rest of them had to fill in. So it's I've been surprised, pleasantly surprised about how productive they've been so far.
When you talk about the youth in the game last night against Campbellsville in the Fifth Region tournament, you started 1 senior, 2 sophomores, 3 sophomores and a freshman.
Yes.
In a regional final game of a state tournament.
Yeah, definitely. Like I said, and that's what and at the end of the game, when my senior went down with an injury, by the end of the game with 3 sophomores, a freshman, and an 8th grader on the floor. And so I'm watching, and as we was playing, and they was competing and doing that, I'm just like, we got a lot going on around here. So I'm excited about the future. I just came from a freshman basketball game, and on the freshman sideline, we had 17 kids or something dressed out today from 8th grade and freshmen. So just kind of pleased, looking toward the future. But I think we're gonna have.
So looking at your record, we're Washington County's 8-6 overall, 7-5 in the region, 2-1 in the district, and that district's going to get complicated. You're going to figure out where you are this week.
Yeah.
Who are the kids that make Washington County win or lose?
Not
win or lose, but
yeah.
Where do you look for?
Well, it starts with like senior Kobe. Kobe Hughes has made a big leap this year, as far as offensively and defensively. He's our leading rebounder. Excuse me. Is our leading rebounder, and like I said, he does a good job defensively on the other team's best player. He does a lot this year, and then you got to talk about Bo Baker, who does a great job on both ends of the floor. He can score the ball in the paint. He's shooting the jump shot a lot better this year. So those 2 guys are definitely the first 2 guys you want to talk about when you talk about Washington County basketball. And then you got my two guards, my young guards. Noah Reynolds and Kamar Phillips, they have stepped up and done a great job this year, stepping into bigger roles. And like I said, neither one of those guys started last year. Kamar got some time a little bit last year, but Noah didn't play it much varsity at all. Like I said, during some garbage minutes. But for him to step in there his first year and to play the way he's playing. I'm really proud of him.
Well, and you've got Camden Abel, who's thrown in some major points here in the last week. I think he's been your Christmas surprise or your Christmas week. But and we want to talk. We started with Kobe. Kobe didn't play after the second quarter last night. Yeah. Do you have any prognosis on his injury?
Well, I just got a text from him a second ago, and he said he's just really, really sore. We was talking on the bus on the way home from the game, and I told him, I said, when you wake up in the morning after you sleep, I was like, you might not be able to walk. And so he's really sore, but he said it scared him more than anything. It's the first time he ever had any kind of knee injury like that, and when he came down, I think it was more of a hyperextension, and he came down and it kind of scared him a little bit, and then he wanted to give it a go. And I let him out there for maybe like 30 seconds in the third quarter. And I seen he couldn't go. And I just seen the disappointment on his face. He came to the bench and I'm sure he probably don't want me to say it, but I could see the tears in his eyes. And he just wanted to be out there so bad to try to help his team win. And but he has a doctor's appointment on Tuesday. And like I said, he's going to ice it and keep working with it this weekend and see how it feels. And then whatever the doctor's prognosis is on Tuesday, then we'll just go from there.
Okay. Well, and kudos to the Campbellsville fans last night that they saw how hard he wanted to be out on the floor to start the second half, and when he come off, they gave him a big round of applause.
Yeah, definitely. And I heard, I heard that, and I really appreciate that from them. Like I said, they have some good fans over there, and like I said, it was a tough game to lose, but like I said, the coach, their coach does a good job. Like I said, it was just I hate to lose any game, but like I said. He's a good coach, classy coach. I have a good relationship with him, so I wish them all the best, and hopefully they can go up there and do well up there at EKU.
Speaking of a head coach of the Campbellsville Eagles, Keith Atkins, Washington did make it to the finals the second year in a row. Made it to the finals of the 5th Region All-A tournament. Did come up short, 53-38 against Campbellsville. But your team battled the whole time. Again, when you end the game with 3 sophomores, a freshman, and an 8th grader, the future does look bright. Talk about last night's game.
Well, we couldn't put the ball in the basket. We came out and we scored on our first possession, and then we got a really nice shot on our next possession, wide open shot, and missed it. We just didn't shoot the ball well last night, and a lot of it had to do with the new guy that got in. I think it's Milburn. I think it's his name.
Milburn.
He's a big presence in the paint. He blocked a lot of shots. We hit a couple open layups that he erased, and he does a good job. Just coming over to help. What they was doing, they was putting other guys on Baker, and they was kind of trying to root him out and kind of being physical with him. And then when he did get by those guys, then he would come over and be in help. And he can jump, and he's a big kid, and so he just made it tough on us. And so I thought we played well, and we executed well. We just it was a few calls that I thought that we could have got to the free throw line and kind of see the ball go through the basket a little bit, because I think we attacked the basket, we threw the ball in the post a lot, and I thought it could have went a couple different calls, could have won a couple different ways. So I was talking my big boy Bo. We had a lot of post touches last night, and that was the plan, was to attack in the post and getting the ball. And we got him the ball a lot, and for him to have that many post touches and that many shots, and for him to shoot 2 free throws, it don't really sit well with me. So I'm kind of upset about that. But like I said, I can't blame the referees for losing any kind of ball game. Like I said, Campbellsville played a good game, had a good game plan as far as what they did. So, hats off to them. But at the same time, like I said, I hope that I think he needs a little more respect. Honestly, he needs to be officiated. I think he gets penalized for his size a lot of times. Like we play some teams that have smaller kids and they'll put smaller guys on him, and he gets walked underneath of all the time, and or he gets hacked on his arms, and it's almost kind of like they expect him just because he's bigger and skilled that they just kind of let it go. That's like I said, but it is what it is. Like I said, and we're going to kind of keep fighting, and we're going to keep going. So.
And speaking of fighting, this is the week to do it. Is go to Bardstown. Bardstown, Washington County come up with a win earlier in the year, early before Christmas. First, win for you against Bardstown, I think.
Definitely, yeah.
And that game meant a lot. And then you're going to close the week out with Nelson County on Friday night. Talk about the preparation going into that Bardstown game.
Well, like I said, we are going to get back at it tomorrow. We're going to come have a shoot around and watch film tomorrow. And then we'll get back at it on Monday. We'll be practicing, even though it's Martin Luther King Day. We will have practice on Monday. Like I said, it's the preps are already there. Like I said, they know everything we do. from the time I've been here at Washington County is we're kind of getting prepared to play Bardstown. And I tell people it all the time, and they kind of look at me like, why are you always preparing? And I'm like, so they've been the top team in the region for 12 years. So I tell people if we can get to the point where we can compete with them and beat them, then we can beat anybody. So like I said, everything we do is like we're working on our defense. Our offense is built around trying to go against like a tough man-to-man defense that they're going to play and our like that. So everything we do is getting prepared for them. So I don't have a lot of prep work because they know what to expect from them. And so we just got to kind of familiarize ourselves with what they do on offense and some of that stuff. But as far as that, we work on that every day. Like everything's geared towards them anyway.
Is there ever a time you have to worry about Washington County getting up to play Bardstown?
No. Like I said, playing Bardstown and Marion County, those games, like you don't got to give a speech for those games. Like so, those games, it's kind of like when you walk in there, you can just feel the energy from the boys. You can feel the energy in the gym. So you don't got to say a lot when you go into the gym, the locker room. Those games, you just kind of walk in and tell them let's go, and they get out there and they ready to go. So.
And you will be able to catch both of those games this week on G&G's broadcast, Tuesday night at Washington County at Bardstown and Friday night, Washington County at Nelson County. So both of those will be on G&G. You can see them on our Facebook page. And then as you bring up Marion County, we will be back with Washington Marion County game. We'll be there on February the 14th to bring you the Border War. That game's always tough. You can throw record books out the window, out the Roby Dome if you want to, because the Marion Washington game's always tough.
Always, yeah, definitely. I enjoy that game, and like me being new here, it's my third year, and I just didn't realize, like I said, being from Bardstown, I didn't realize how serious that the Border War was. I mean, like I said, they get up for it, and I mean, they get so emotional into it. So, and I'm glad that, like, I'm glad to know Mays. I've been knowing Mays for a while. I watched him play ball in high school. And I watched him play in college. So, like I said, enjoy coaching against him. He does a great job with his program, getting his boys ready to play. So it's always a joy to play against them.
Well, Coach, we appreciate you all coming out this morning and joining us here at Mordecai's on Main for a little coach's show and learn a little bit more about your team. So appreciate it.
Definitely.
All right. That's the Washington County segment of this broadcast. We're going to take a timeout. We'll be back. Hal's going to bring our legend in, Bernard Smalley, this morning. Thank you for joining us on the Saturday Morning Coaches Show by Farmers National Bank.
At Farmers National Bank in Lebanon, we'd like to say, wow, thank you for voting us the best bank in Marion County, the best checking and savings in Marion County, the best loans and lending in Marion County, the best mortgages in Marion County, the best customer service in Marion County, and the one we're proud of, the best place to work in Marion County. Thank you to our customers and the community, and we couldn't do it without our great employees, so we are so proud to be voted the best place to work. Farmers National Bank, we're here for you. Farmers National Bank, 136 West Main Street in Lebanon and 2160 Campbellsville Highway. Farmers National Bank, member FDIC. So what's going on in Marion County? New homes. That's right, new Ram homes. They're going up in the Ridgeview subdivision, just off the Lebanon bypass, behind the Valvoline Instant Oil Change. These Ram homes are stunning and affordable while maintaining slam dunk quality, featuring full press customer service. Ram Homes at numbers 859-336-6000. Let the Ram team get started for you.
Ram Homes wishes the Knights and the Lady Knights good luck, go Knights!
There's a craving in this instant, disposable world for something authentic, something real. The farmer knows what it means to be real because they face real issues every day. So an insurance agent who can provide real solutions to those problems is something you can hang your hat on. And that's why the farmers of Marion County trust Jesse Insurance. People who understand things only a farmer would.
To hear more about their farm insurance products, stop by 101 South Spalding Avenue in Lebanon, across from the post office, 270-595-0000. Jesse Insurance, the agent with choices. Protect what you sow.
Lebanon, the heart of Kentucky, has always been known as a legendary place for dining, and it still is. Lebanon offers great options for virtually every type of dining. Fine cuisine with a chef-driven menu? We have it. Country dining with a local flair? We have it. How about a great lunch spot? We have it. We even have an old-time fountain drink counter, a 50-style drive-in with the best chili dog around, and a sweet shop complete with hand-dipped ice cream. For a complete listing of all the wonderful places to eat in Lebanon, go to visitlebanonky.com.
Good morning. Welcome to Mordecai's on Main as we are back for the Farmers National Bank Saturday Morning Coaches Show. And we've decided to put into the segments that we do from Marion or Washington County. As every Saturday morning, we'll be broadcasting from a different location today at Mordecai's on Main, and we'll be going back over into the Lebanon area. We've talked to a couple of restaurants that we're going to be going to over there. But we're going to put a legend segment because when you think about basketball in Marion and Washington County, you think about those who not only coached, but those that played and gave their heart and soul to the program that they were a part of. Well, there's nobody that's done any more than that than our first legend, we'll say, that Bernard Smalley. I'd got some pictures of Bernard last night we put up there when he was in his prime of coaching. And one thing about Bernard, he played at Washington County. He played every sport. I remember even seeing him. I don't think he played as much football, but he was over there still as a manager in football. But baseball, basketball, then he was able to come into the fold as being an assistant coach, head coach for both programs. He is the park director at Idlehour Park. There is not a kid in Washington County that knows, that does not know whenever they're talking about baseball or sports that they do not say this man's name. And Bernard Smalley is our guest this morning, and we're just glad to be able to start with you, Bernard. Bernard, I've known you forever, and your contribution to sports has been just phenomenal last year. Inducted into the 5th Region Hall of Fame, which I know you're proud about that, but your connections through sports is just phenomenal.
Yeah, I appreciate you inviting me here, Hal. And, my motto always been, it's all about the kids. 36 years of coaching, and I enjoyed every bit of it. And, I decided to give it up. It was time to give it up. But, a small community like Washington County, and I love it here, and we got great kids. Mays talked earlier. We got great kids in this community, and it's all about those kids.
Bernard had a full set of hair before he started coaching, and I don't know what happened, but it's gone now. I tell you, Bernard, the one thing that you do have that's a great attribute is patience. You've always had it.
Yeah, I've learned it from my dad. My dad played small. He coached at St. Dominic's back in the day, and he would tell me, he said, boy, if you want to get in this coaching, you got to have a little patience. And I'm telling you, over the last 36 years, had to have a lot of patience. But I my dad, I started with him, and I've coached under some great coaches. My first job was under Paul Terrell, assistant coach with him. I got to coach under Mays. Mays played under Artie Braden, and Artie was one of the best coaches, still one of the best coaches around. He retired. A late buddy, John Baumcarney, coached under him.
You sure did.
Of course, I can't leave out my man, J.T. Burton.
That's right.
We spent 4 years together with the girls program. So I've been around a lot of great coaches, and, just had a great time. And I can't leave out my staff. I had Chad Willis, because Chad was, and Barrett Tingle. They helped me for 5 years with the boys, and you couldn't beat those two gentlemen.
Highlight a couple of your teams. I don't even know where to start. You've been head coach for the programs at Washington County in basketball. You say assistant coach. Kind of highlight a little bit of your career being involved in that part of the game.
I helped JT when Bill Newton retired. I helped JT Burton with Washington County girls, and of course we had Katie Philly-Attrue and Brittany Eland. You had two superstars there, and then you had the Goatley twins with them, Stacy Tope. We was able to go to the state tournament. I never forget that the region was at Marion County. Celeste Williams was a freshman, and we was playing Caverna High, and tied game with 4 seconds to go. And Celeste wasn't a very good free throw shooter, but she made one free throw, and we got over the hump. We was able to win that game, and went on to win the 5th region title, and we won 1 game in the state tournament in Bowling Green before Paducah Tillman beat us. So then last night, being in Converna, Jim brought back some old memories. My Class A team with Kenya Turner, Jennifer King, Kayla Edlin. We was able to defeat my old buddy Paul Stone at Bardstown in overtime to win the Class A there at Converna. And then never forget, we go to Richmond and play Orangeburg Catholic and Rebecca Greenwell that played at the University of Duke.
That's right.
I think we put everybody, maybe 5 players on at one time. She still scored 39, but she had an outstanding career at Duke, and but that was a great memory. And then, I went to the boys' side and was assistant coach under Artie Braden. It was Artie Braden, myself, Doug Johnson, and Ralph Mason. What a crew there! That was a crew. What about that crew? And we had, Kobe Hughes' daddy Mitchell. Right. He was a beast. And we was the last undefeated team in the state of Kentucky that year. It was 22-0. Brandon Newton, Bill Newton's son, was the point guard. We had Barrett Tingle, who shoot the eyes out of it. We had Derek Dean. Derek Dean was one of those players that, he did the dirty work. He guarded the best team's ball player. He would take charges. Boo Hergen was our point guard, and Boo's job was just to get the ball to Mitchell and the other guys. But we lost to a great North Hardin team in the finals of the region. Finished 20. I think it's still school record 29-6. North Hardin had he was quarterback for UK football. Woodson. Had Andre Woodson and had a little Smith kid at Dante. I want to say Dante Smith. Yeah, Dante Smith, and they was able to beat us in the finals of the region. But looking back at it, it's a lot of basketball and a lot of great kids that played in this community.
You talked about a lot of those that mentored you and that you coached with. But, I think about some of the ones that had an influence on you that you weren't really directly a coach with. I had a chance to talk to Minor Harmon the other evening, and we were talking about just people that he had worked with, and he mentioned your name when we were talking. There's some others like that I know that really, you mentioned working with some directly, but even those indirect, like a Sis Roby for Marion County in the Lady Knights.
Yeah,
they were some great coaches you've worked around.
Great coaches. And Minor, I used to call Minor every now and then and pick his brain. You never know too much coaching, and he was one of the best coaches. And I just love Minor. Get mad, that blue coat would be flying back behind the bench. But great thing about Kentucky coaches, and then you could call on anybody. I remember going to Bam Carney's house on a Sunday and breaking down films with me. And that was it's all about. You have friends in the coaching, and we got Mays here and Stevie, and Mays, wasn't able to beat him at Taylor County. He was coaching Taylor County, couldn't beat him. I think he beat me 3 times, and of course Stevie was over there with Boo, and we never could beat him. I finally beat Boo twice. Finally beat him twice, and should have beat him the 3rd time, but I remind him that all the time. But Bardstown, what you got? Athletes, more athletes, and then and Coach Mays, he's at Taylor County. He had some great talent over there, and then I was like, I'm gonna beat him one time. I thought I had him one time, but didn't get him.
How's the game changing? Have you seen it? I mean, we're almost getting ready to be out here on one of these park benches.
I think Coach Starwood and Coach Woodson agree with me. I think you got to have a great point guard. I think now you see a lot of more 5 outs. 5 outs. You kids are more athletic. You see a lot of pick and pop, and then people driving and kicking. And it's changed. If you don't have a good point guard, you're in trouble, especially in the 5th region. You better have a good point guard. Now, and this watching this year, man, I'm going to tell you, it's even though Marion County's hurt and they starting to get healthy, I wouldn't want to draw them in the district. I'm going to tell you that right now because it's anybody that's not a dominant team in this region right now. So whoever gets hot, and again, come February the 15th, everybody's record is 0-0.
That's right.
And you win one game to get you in the region.
I was going to ask you to kind of look at the 5th region, but I
Yep.
don't think it's a fair question. I agree with you.
Yep.
I think John Harden probably is playing and has a team that's out there to maybe be a number 1 team. But again, I wouldn't count out any of the teams that you mentioned and any of the others, like in Adair County. And you look at Taylor, what they're doing. Bardstown.
Yeah.
There's 7 or 8 teams I can rattle off at this point.
And Coach Boo's athletic. His team's always athletic. But I'm gonna tell you, there's nobody want to draw Marion County in the district. I'm gonna tell you that right now because they're beginning to get healthy again, and it just, you gotta have a little luck to win the district. You gotta have a little luck, and like Mace's bunch been like a mass unit so far this year. So they gotta have a little luck. And Coach Woodson, you always got to have your. He's got 2 good ball players that build around, his 2 superstars, and Kobe and Bo, and everybody else you got to have your Jimmy and your Joes. That's what I'm trying to say. He's got a Jimmy and Joe, and Coach May's got a Jimmy right now, and his Joe's hurt. So, and then you got to have your role players. And I think, with Coach Woodson now being young, man, like last night, he had 3 freshmen, an 8th grader, and a sophomore No, I'm sorry. He had 3 sophomores, a freshman, 8th grade on the court in a varsity game, in the finals of the region. So, it's going to be interesting. I think the region is at Nelson County.
The district is going to be at Thomas Nelson.
Yeah, district Thomas Nelson, and again, that's Thomas Nelson playing the district on their home court.
19th.
Yeah, and they shoot their eyes out of it, and it's going to be interesting.
20th district, Coach. Where's that at this year?
Campbellsville.
Campbellsville. It's going to be at Campbellsville this year. So some good ball coming up. We're going to take a timeout. We come back. We're going to finish things up. I'm Wes Bernard. Hang around. We're going to bring our coaches in here, John Graves, and we're going to finish things up for the Farmers National Bank Saturday Morning Coaches Show, which is a G&G production.
For a lot of people, home ownership is a big to-do list item that has to get checked before you feel like you're a grown-up, living your best life. If you're ready to check that box, talk to Derek Brussel at Farmers National Bank. Derek specializes in guiding first-time home buyers, young borrowers, and other newbies toward a responsible, manageable, fulfilling financial future. Visit farmersnational.bank to get in touch. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender, NMLS number 402972.
So what's going on in Marion County? New homes. That's right, new Ram homes. They're going up in the Ridgeview subdivision, just off the Lebanon bypass, behind the Valvoline Instant Oil Change. These Ram homes are stunning and affordable, while maintaining slam dunk quality, featuring full press customer service. Ram Homes at numbers 859-336-6000. Let the Ram team get started for you.
Ram Homes wishes the Knights and the Lady Knights. Good luck, go Knights!
Mark Eaton.
And Angie May here from TG Kentucky.
Looking for a full-time job with awesome pay and benefits?
New hourly rates start at $17.60 for off-shift production and shipping position.
Apply for these roles at workfortg.com.
Need a flexible part-time job? Apply through BellFlex and create your own work schedule.
Stop by and visit us in Lebanon or give us a call with any questions.
270-699-3300.
Find us on Facebook and LinkedIn.
Come see why TG Kentucky
is right for you.
Putting people back to work. Brought to you by the Marion County Industrial Foundation.
One of my all-time favorite Washington County teams was led by the great Kevin Ellery. And who can forget our old buddy, Coach Bill Newton, and his flannel shirts leading the Commanderettes into battles. A truly great team is made up of team members that completely trust one another to get things done. That same great team mentality is how it is at Citizens National Bank. Our goal is to offer championship quality bank for all of Central Kentucky. Go out and support our local sports teams and bank with Citizens National Bank of Lebanon. Member FDIC and Equal Housing Lender.
To a farmer, a handshake is as good as a contract, and a man's word is something you can actually build on. So to have an insurance agent who's accountable, trustworthy, and dedicated to providing the best customer service possible, well, that sure does go a long way. And that's why the farmers in Lebanon trust Jesse Insurance.
To hear more about their farm insurance products, stop by 101 South Spalding Avenue, across from the post office. Call 270-595-0000. Jesse Insurance, the agent with choices. Protect what you sow.
Lebanon, the heart of Kentucky, has always been known as a legendary place for dining, and it still is. Lebanon offers great options for virtually every type of dining. Fine cuisine with a chef-driven menu? We have it. Country dining with a local flair? We have it. How about a great lunch spot? We have it. We even have an old-time fountain drink counter, a 50-style drive-in with the best chili dog around, and a sweet shop complete with hand-dipped ice cream. For a complete listing of all the wonderful places to eat in Lebanon, go to visitlebanonky.com.
Back here, Mordecai's on Main is our site for the first G&G Productions of the Farmers National Bank Saturday Morning Coaches Show. We appreciate everyone that's been tuning into some of the games that we've been able to produce at G&G. And also, we will be keeping you up to date. It's going to be a busy run to district tournament time as we're going to be bringing you some more games as we go through. But want to bring you the coaches shows, which have been kind of a tradition in this area for Marion, Washington County. Can watch it anytime. That's what the glory is about Facebook Live, is you can watch it anytime. Joined by John Graves, our legend of the morning. Bernard Smalley still with us. Marion County Coach May Stallworth, and also Stevie Woodson, skipper of the Commanders. You think about Commander basketball, you know, how can you not think about somebody like a Bernard Smalley, Coach?
Bernard's been great ever since I took over the program. When I got the job, he was the first one to call me, and anytime I need anything, I know I can call him. And like I said, we talk all the time. Like after ball games, he's at most of the ball games, and like I said, he's there. And if I need any kind of advice or anything I need, I know I can call and depend on him.
And then, you know, I like what Bernard was saying earlier in Legends, and Coach Stallworth, you know this. Since you were a little guy coming into this 5th region, even at John Hardin, everybody knew Bernard Smalley.
Yes, it did. You know, it's crazy how basketball works. Like I said, you know, it's all a big tree. You know, he worked with J.T. Burton. I also worked with J.T. Burton. He also worked with Artie Braden. I played for Coach Braden. I want to say, Coach, I don't know if you remember, you were my first head coaching game at Casey. You remember you came down to play my first year at Casey. You were our first game. Okay. It was your first year. Yeah. It was your first year. It was my first year. You were the first head boys coach at Washington. It was my first head job at Casey. We played each other. You came down there. You had DJ. Forgot his name. Played here. DJ Keeling. DJ Keeling played for you. I just remember y'all came down there. That was my first game. It was your first game as head coach. Yeah.
Hey, he coached your wife.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, you talk about giving this guy, you know, the Citizen of the Year award. I mean, Lindsay Soup.
But yeah, like I said, this is a big family tree to talk about. Like I said, I've known Coach Woods. I've known him forever. You know, just all this. You know, all the big family tree right here. Everybody knows each other, and that's what's good about it. That's what makes it even better for us competing-wise, because me and Coach Joe, we play ball together and play pickup and all that. When the game starts, hey, it's on. It's on. When the game over, it's over with. You know, you know, that's how we always been about stuff.
And we've been around long enough. You're so involved in the game, and me just being able to see what's been happening out there. There's a lot of truth in what they say.
Yeah, I talked to a lot of people. I was like, I never got a technical. Coaching 36 years, they're like, there's no way. Will you act on the sideline and stop that foot? I was like, no, I never got a technical. I can honestly say that. I was close every time. Should have probably, but, you know, it is. It's like when the lights come on and you out there and you in that frame of mind, man. You know, if you're playing checkers, if I'm playing Marion County at Bardstown checkers, I want to beat them. You know, and that's what it should be. It's all about you know, you have student bodies, they go back and forward, and that's what high school basketball is about.
Well, and how, you know, when you were talking to Bernard earlier, you said something about there's not a lot of kids in the community that don't know who Bernard Smalley was. I was trying to think back, when did I first meet Bernard, and he's just always been there. I can't remember one time when I met Bernard, but he's been a close friend of mine for so many years, and I guess it was probably my freshman year of baseball. You were coaching baseball at the time with Tom Bystrick, and you know that group that was regional runner-up in '96 and '97. You know, so we've talked a lot of basketball this morning, but you coached quite a bit of baseball as well.
Yeah, I have, and had probably wasn't very smart because it's probably 30 degrees, but coaching baseball in March and April. But I enjoyed it. You know, you coach under a legend, Coach Bystrick, and helped him. And you know, I had a camp 3 years ago with a baseball camp at the park. First one I called, Coach Bystrick. He was there.
Right. Yeah. Well, and more importantly than that, the G&G name came from your wife. Jordy was one helped us come up with when we were talking about this last summer. So you've always been close to Hal and ourselves and the community and everything. We appreciate you.
Yeah.
Don't bank on too much from your retirement rising because of that. But I think that is something worth mentioning.
Absolutely.
We
Mama
thank you,
Shorty. We always, anytime I can mention Mama Shorty, she'll be mad that I didn't play Rocky Top this morning.
Yeah. Rocket Talk's got to be played every Commander game.
One thing I noticed that when Bernard was talking with both of you is the connectivity from who we were talking about.
Yeah.
We talked about Mitchell Hughes, his son Kobe played. We talked about Boo Hergen, who had a son that played a couple of years ago. Even when you talk about Artie Braden, it's interesting how even in this fifth region that we, Bardstown, John Harden, where you all play, we're still connected, aren't we?
Yeah.
As far as we go, with not only great athletes, but seeing some of those athletes become coaches like you guys.
Yeah, and this basketball thing, man, it's a big thing. Even like with football, if you're in that field, you're going to meet. It's going to all come back around. In this basketball thing, I probably met Stevie from playing hoop, and I didn't know. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Then it came to this. And that's where I'm just like, even I'm like you. I don't remember the first time, but I know it was when I was here at St. Catherine. But then he's just always been around. I never thought of. That's Bernard. Everybody knows it. He's at the park. I know where to find him. You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
Like it's always been that way. I'm not from Springfield, but I've been here over the last 8, 9, 10 years, and obviously my wife's family is from here, so I'm embedded in here. So I just feel like that's how it's always been, especially around this. That's how it's always been, especially around this community.
Saturday the 15th when this Facebook Live program is being recorded. So you got a busy week coming up. I want to ask you both, what's your week look like next week?
Next week, I think we're going to end up picking up a game, hopefully on next Tuesday. And then we got Evangel Christian, who I told you probably a good chance they're going to win the 6th Region All-A region. And we play him here. They got a bunch of guys, 7-footers. It's going to be a good game, good atmosphere. And then, like I told you, we roll on to end up playing the number 1 team in our district, number 2 team, the team that just won All-A 5th region. So it doesn't get any lighter or not, but that's what makes good teams towards the end. You got to battle through this.
And we already talked about your week.
Yeah.
But it's worth mentioning again. You have got a big district week coming up in the 19th.
Definitely. Like I said, going into Bardstown on Tuesday. Like I said, we beat them earlier this year, so I know they're going to be fired up, and the atmosphere is going to be really, really crazy. I know. I've heard several people saying they're taking off work just to come to the game, and like I said, I know my family will be there, and like I said, and it was, and like I said, it's going to be a great atmosphere. I can't wait to get there. Like I'm already excited about the game, and so are the boys. So can't wait to get there.
Coach, how many pass list requests have you got to Bardstown game?
That's everybody keeps talking like, let me get on the list. I was like, I ain't got that much power yet. Especially not over there no more. So I said, you come to Washington County, I can get you in. I was like, but over there, I got about 8 people I can get in. So, but other than that, like I said, just looking forward to playing them. And then, of course, we got another big district game on Friday. So, like I said, we need to win these 2 games, and that way we can get the 1 seed in the district. And but like I said, I was talking to them. It ain't really much of a difference in the 1 through 5. Really, so like we're going to play a tough team regardless of whoever we play the first round. So we just got to be playing well when it's time to come and be healthy.
Well, we appreciate both the coaches coming in. Bernard, thank you for coming in for our first show, John.
Absolutely. I don't think we could have found a better legend, a better location, and 2 better coaches to join us on our inaugural revamp of the Saturday Morning Coaches Show.
We want to hear from you. Just jump on board and send us a message via Facebook Live. Let us know who we can bring in as far as guests. And also, we'll be coming back next week with our girls. We're going to be doing the girls coaches for both programs of Marion and Washington County. That's going to finish up things for us today. Thanks to our sponsors that were a part of bringing this program to you. Again, make sure to go inside their business and tell them thank you for bringing us Marion and Washington County sports. Keep it coming. We do thank Pixel Face for their work that they do. They're great partners of G&G Productions, and we appreciate them working with us. So for the coaches, Steve Woodson from Washington County, May Stallworth from Marion County, and Bernard Smalley, our Washington County legend. For John Graves, Halby Good from Mordecai's on Main. Thank you, Keith Slosser, for your sponsorship this morning. From Mordecai's on Main, Hal Good. Wishing you and yours a pleasant weekend. So long, everybody. At Farmers National Bank in Lebanon, we'd like to say, wow! Wow! Thank you for voting us The best bank in Marion County. The best checking and savings in Marion County. The best loans and lending in Marion County. The best mortgages in Marion County. The best customer service in Marion County. And the one we're proud of, the best place to work in Marion County. Thank you to our customers and the community. And we couldn't do it without our great employees. So we are so proud to be voted the best place to work. Farmers National Bank. We're here for you. Farmers National Bank, 136 West Main Street in Lebanon and 2160 Campbellsville Highway. Farmers National Bank. Member FDIC. So what's going on in Marion County? New homes. That's right, new Ram homes. They're going up in the Ridgeview subdivision, just off the Lebanon bypass, behind the Valvoline Instant Oil Change. These Ram homes are stunning and affordable, while maintaining slam dunk quality, featuring full press customer service. Ram Homes at numbers 859-336-6000. Let the Ram team get started for you.
Ram Homes wishes the Knights and the Lady Knights. Good luck, go Knights!
This has been the G&G production of the Saturday Morning Coaches Show, a full-court discussion of Washington and Marion County basketball. The Saturday Morning Coaches Show is brought to you by Ram Construction, Farmers National Bank, Jesse Insurance, Lebanon Tourism, and Citizens National Bank. The Saturday Morning Coaches Show, a presentation of G&G Productions.